Welcome again. Always my pleasure and joy to welcome you to Marriage Discourses. Here, Dr. Jerry Gashohi. And this is because this is where we learn how to make our marriages thrive. And maybe if you are not married, you're looking forward to making sure that your marriage will thrive, not just survive. It is not just be going on that, you've seen where maybe a patient you find like the gauge is almost going down. You'd want it to be always alive, and it's possible. And you don't have to endure always, you can make sure that as you enjoy, it's you always a joy. And so we thank God. So we've been looking at marriage and many other lessons that have been there, and I want you to go there and watch them so that you are also together with us even in this one. And today we are going to ask ourselves, yes, we talked about what God intended a marriage to be, the purpose, and what a Christian marriage is. Maybe you would want to ask ourselves, now, if God meant it to be this good, how comes this is what we have now? Maybe you are asking, I don't have a good deal, I have an ordeal. And so I'm asking, what is ailing our marriages? And this will be something that we're going to look, and look at many other issues. So, but today we may ask ourselves, how is your marriage? Or how is my marriage? Or what do you view marriage? I've heard many young people talking about, oh, marriage is a scam. And I'm wondering, who is scamming who? And maybe this scam is where maybe people are going to marriage preparing to scam one another. You see, you marry because you want financial gain. You have seen somebody who has money, and so you want to say, I think I can benefit with that marriage, in that marriage. Maybe you have seen somebody maybe who is like this. So you may be out not because for marriage, not because of the intentions that we had said before, but because maybe there could be. So we say you get scammed. Or maybe sometimes I've heard people saying at marriage ni wafara. And I was wondering, mafara, fara, for those maybe you don't understand Kiswahili, fara means a fellow who is not really well informed. You are like a fool or simple-minded. That meaning is like you can easily be swindled, you can be blackmailed, you are so naive, and it's like you don't know even what you are getting to. So when you are saying that marriage ni amafara, I'm wondering, I don't think I'm a fara. All I know is this: marriage has made me better than I have ever was. I wish my mother was alive to tell you what type of Jerry she was, because she feared I'll have no one to marry me because I'm a lot, I talk a lot. And I think, she felt like that mouth might be too much for a man. Nitachapiwa, I'll be beaten because of that mouth. But at least by the time she died, I'd never been beaten because of my mouth. Neither am I going to be beaten because I use my mouth well. Anyway, now this is it. Maybe somehow some of these things you may ask yourself, what is our marriages looking like? Is it a soap opera? Does it look like that one of Alejandro? Has shared, lunches, where you have, you have always had those types of movies or soap operas where we have this one who's been loved, the other one who is not loved. Then after that, the one who is hated gets married later, and then the story is happily ever after. I can almost tell you how a soap opera will start and how it's going to end. I don't know how it looks like. Is it a reality show like those ones I see some people just say, here I am, I'm in the kitchen, I'm with my hubby. Is it a reality show? And after you have clicked the cameras off, then the rubber meets the road. Then we have the mother of all battles going on. So, but we played a reality show. Every other time person comes and there we are really playing it like it is really a reality show. I hope it's not a horror movie. So, it is Bosnia and Herzegovina. I mean, we are all fighting like the way you see Iran and bombing one another. I hope it's not a comedy show, because a comedy show is where it just looks, hey, it's not even real. People are just acting and acting it funny. I also pray that it is not like a news bulletin. You just come and give the details and how so and so it happened, went and came back, and that's all, and that's nothing. Just a monotonous there is no fun. It's just like a news bulletin. But I also hope it's not a documentary. Documentary is how things just happened. You can either have it funny, like the Animal Fight Club in geographical. It's called National Geographic. Now, maybe I'm asking, how is that our marriages? How are they? And maybe this is where we ask ourselves, like somebody had said, when I was getting married, I was looking forward to an ideal marriage. But then it became an ordeal. I no longer know what is real, and now I'm looking for a new deal. I pray that's not what we are doing. Because we may have missed the ideal marriage, we are in an ordeal. But that ordeal does not mean that you look for a new deal, because that new deal, you may not even know whether it's going to be okay. Because you see, you're not going to look for or to buy a happy ending. You can even have, okay, you're not going to look for a new beginning. You can make a happy ending. What does that mean? What you're calling an ordeal can be a good deal. So the question is this: is it ideal? Is it real? Or deal? Or looking for a new deal? Now, this statement of people, they lived happily ever after. How many of us, and I know we still have, that's why I'm talking about soap opera, because the Cinderella story looking like those ones which we watch now on the movies, where we have this time, this one is suffering, hated, and all that. Then meets Prince Charming, and they live happily ever after. So a girl, a small girl, was being read the story of Cinderella by the mother, and you read and say, the wicked sister, their ugly sisters, this time they are getting rejected. And the prince is able to find this Cinderella with the who fitted in well into that silver shoe. And now they got married, and the word that ends there is they lived happily ever after. And this girl said, "Oh no, I don't think so." And the mother is saying, "What happened? Why?" He said, "But she got married." No, according to this girl, I don't know whether it's because of how she had seen the marriage, but for her, it's like Cinderella never lived happily ever after because she got married. And maybe this girl had seen an ordeal. But when we know that the truth is two are better than one, they have a good reward for their labor. I believe when God says every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord, it is because it is perfect, it is good. And let every man be a liar and God be true. So when we're asking ourselves, why is it not an ideal marriage? When we talk about being ideal, meaning it is existing in our imagination, desirable or perfect, but not likely to become a reality. That ideal marriage, I know that many times when we are getting married, we think, oh, it will always be laughter. We will never conflict on anything. Have you heard of people who say, I have found my perfect mate? We will never quarrel. I say it is accepted or accepted in heaven. We leave it on earth. This is where the rubber meets the road. By the way, the Bible says in heaven there will be no marriage. So we'll be married to the Lamb. So here is where we live with one another. And so the ideal marriage may not be here so much, because this is where we live it real. But that does not mean it has to be an ordeal if it is not ideal. Ideal is because we have those things that we imagine, like what we are saying, it will never be for richer. It will always be richer, not for poor. It will not be, it will be in health and never sickness. But looking at us, we are at this world. And so we may be subjected to these things, even when we have married well. So what happens? If it is not ideal, it should be real. The actual existing as a thing or occurring as a fact. Not imagined or supposed, but genuine. And I believe that there are people who are living it real. Not a reality show, real. That means if they have issues, they know they have conflicted, but they set time to go and sit down and they iron out. And after that, they are growing better every day as they look at what things that they were not in agreement on, and then later realize, and we agreed, or we were able to come this far because they are making it real. Then there are those who are living on an ordeal. What we are saying, it's very painful, difficult or tiring, draining, severe, trying experience. And I'm sorry if that's how your marriage has been. But that's why we are here. That's why we have these marriage discourses. Because we know that which has been an ordeal, God can make it real. It can be a good deal. So you look back and say, I was never deceived. You see, sometimes when you are scammed, that is the time you realize what you saw is not what you got. You are promised to be taken to Dubai. You have not even gone beyond your city. And now it is 10 years and you're wondering, where will ever be? I want to say this. Sometimes these are some of the things we are talking about when people are not true to their covenant. But I want to say this. We can have a good and real deal with the Lord. Looking at it and asking the Lord, I want to make it real. And I want it to be real because you are real. So that when it comes to the issues, you are saying, I can't forgive him. Then when the Lord tells you, would you forgive him and let me help him to change? Or you can forgive yourself because maybe you are thinking, I must have been a fool, so dumb to get into this. Once you forgive yourself and ask the Lord, what do you make out of this marriage? God can give you that good middle and even the happy ending as you look forward, even as you wait for the marriage of the Lamb. So I pray that it's not going to be that very painful, difficult, or that draining and severe experience. What we are calling the survival. You're almost like, I can't wait for the next day. You almost like you dread when he's coming home. You dread when you're going to close school because you realize he's coming home or she's coming home and it's going to be like unbearable. I praise not. But when we talk about the deal, I've talked about the ideal, that which we imagined and maybe sometimes thought this is what is going to be. But then we have that which is real. Then there is the worst, which is the ordeal. But I believe that what the Lord calls us is what is his deal. Negotiation on arrangement of an agreement between parties to their mutual benefit. This is what the Lord is calling us. And that's why we are here to talk about. That the Lord is able to make what you call a good deal with you. Why? He is the one who started it. He said it's not good for a man to be alone. I'll make him a suitable helper. That means he is the one who knew what he needed. A suitable helper to meet for him. And I'm looking at us and realizing we don't know how sometimes trusted, we may not do the best. We may not even be able to know who fits in. But this is it. If you trust the Lord, he can help you in that deal. Young man, young lady, you are listening to me and watching me. I want to say this. Don't think that God is not in the business of helping you find a good husband or a good wife, because he knows how he can help you to get that good deal. Look at it. See, even in the scripture, Eliezer is sent to find a wife for Isaac. He didn't even know what to do, but he loops in God in the deal. What happens? He's told, just go and make sure that you get me a girl, not from the Canaanites, but there from my own people. And so he goes and finds himself near the well, and he realizes this is where I can find a prospective wife. But I don't know who can be the best wife for my master's son. And so he makes a prayer and says, yes, Lord, I've come to this place and you have given me Godspeed. Now, the daughters of men of the village are coming here. Let the one I will tell to give me water, from her cistern that from her pot, I drink. And she also offers to water my camels. Be the one. Now that's a prayer. And that is putting God in that deal. Asking him, can you guide me? Can you help me? And lo and behold, Rebecca comes. And she was not only willing to let the man Eliezer drink from the pitcher, she offered, I'm going to water your camels until they are drunk. You can imagine how much a camel will drink. But this is it. The reason is, you just don't trust your eyes. Why? Samuel is told by God, don't look at, don't look with your eyes, because you see, we see the outward appearance, but God sees the heart. So Samuel was seeing these big people, it was the sons of Jesse. They really looked mighty men of Vera, all they were tall and all that. But God said, no, I've not, chosen any. I've rejected them. I have chosen for myself a man. He came a small boy, David, but that was the man God knew. This is the man I've chosen. So I don't know. You can trust yourself, I know. But you see, listen to me, my son. You will see sometimes the container. We don't see the content. And once we get the content home, now that beauty translates not to be a beauty, but a beast. And I'm not calling anyone a beast, but I'm saying if the beauty is not together with the content, you go home with the container only to realize I was deceived. So I want to say this, and young lady, listen to me. Don't look at the abs. Don't look at the what you call them, those cubes in one. 6 cubes, is it in one pack, or one pack in one cube, or whatever they are, those things, and the abs you see, that chest that looks like that one of a locust, Darareki. What I want to say is this: that should not be the ones that you're looking for. If you look at that, you're going to get one day an ordeal, because your ideal may not be the real thing. It may not be the deal that the Lord wants you to have. You may get an ordeal. I mean, I'm asking you, maybe me and you, and we can look at our marriage. Is it a deal, an ordeal? Is it the real things? Is it a soap opera? Or it is a reality show? Thank you so much, viewers. Until next time, see you. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.